In this video, we're going to take a look at graphing equal ratios. Now, the target for today is to be able to generate a table of equal ratios and graph the ordered pairs. Okay, so we know how to graph, okay, to plot points on a grid, and we know ordered pairs and everything. So if we can remember everything that we learned there, we won't have any problem with today's lesson at all. Okay, so let me just show you an example of this. Alright, now the problem goes like this. One skate in a pair of inline skates has 4 wheels. To make 2 skates, you would need 8 wheels. Copy and complete this table. So we have a table of ratios, and my ratio is 1 to 4. Okay, so what we're just going to do, you can see the bottom table here, it's just increments of 4. So 1 to 4, 2 to 8, 3 to 12, 4 to 16, 5 to 20, 6 to 24. All of these ratios can be reduced all the way down to 1 to 4. Okay, now the next step is we have our ordered pairs. For example, 1 to 4. Okay, and what we do, we just plot that point right on our grid right here. You can see it's already done for us. 2 to 8, 3 to 12, 4 to 16, and so on. 5 to 20, and then 6 to 24. Now our last step, what we will do is just start at the bottom here. We're going to draw a straight line. Do the best we can there with that. Then have an arrow signifying that that ratio can keep going and going. Okay, and what you can see, we know that they're equal because you will have a straight line, okay, representing all your different ratios there. Okay, if you have any ratio that makes your line go jagged at all, for example, okay, that means it's not an equal ratio and you need to recheck your calculations. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at today. Now, what I have here is a problem. It says breathing 12 times to 20 times per minute is common for adult humans. Suppose an adult breathes 12 times per minute. Copy and complete this table. Now I have my table. I'm going to create and generate equal ratios. Then from there I'm going to plot my points on my grid. So my ratio in simplest terms is 1 to 12, and then we can see 2 to 24 representing 2 minutes and 24 breaths. It would be 3 to 36, 4 to 48. You can see I'm just doing increments of 12, and the reason for that is we have breathing 12 times per minute is common, 12 to 20, and we just did 12 here. 5 minutes, 60 breaths, and 6 minutes, 72 breaths. Okay, now what I do from here is I'm going to plot my ratios right on my grid, signifying equal ratios. So what I want to do first of all is write down my ordered pairs. I'm just going to write it to the right hand side of my grid here, my graph. 1 and 12, 2, 24. This will just help me see how I can plot my points. 3 and 36, 4 and 48, 5 and 60, and then 6 and 72. Alright, now I also need to label my X and Y axis. Okay. My Y axis is breaths. And my X axis will just be labeled as minutes. Okay, now from here, I'm just going to plot my point right on the grid. So I have 1 and 12 as my ordered pair. So I go over 1, plot my point. Let me get the correct pen for this. Get a different color here. 1 and 12. And then my next ordered pair, 2 minutes, 24 breaths. Then 3 minutes, 36 breaths. 4 minutes, 48 breaths. You can see I'm just plotting these right on my grid here. 5 minutes, 60 breaths. Then 6 minutes, 72 breaths. Now as far as setting this up, I skipped that. I just did increments of 12. You can do any increment that you would like. The reason why I did increments of 12 was because that's the way my ratios were going there. Okay, now from here, I'm going to draw a line. Okay, my line should be completely straight. If my line is completely straight, that means I have filled out my table correctly. So I'm going to draw a straight line here. Okay, you can see every point fell right within that straight line. I'm going to write an arrow showing that those ratios could keep going on and on and on. Now what I want you to do is get the grid that I handed out to you. We're going to complete this next problem together. Okay, so the first step is always going to be completing the table. Okay, so a tricycle has 3 wheels. Copy and complete this table of equal ratios. I have it already for you. It says on a grid, graph the ordered pairs from the table, connect them with a line. If the line is extended, is the point for 10 to 30 on the line, or 10 and 30. So we'll figure out the answers to these problems here. Okay, so first of all, we need to complete the table. The ratio is 1 to 3, then we go to 2 to 6, and we're just doing increments of 3. That's 9, 12, 15, and then 18. Okay, now as far as my points on my grid, what I did is I just did increments of 3. Okay, so number of tricycles, that's going to be my x-axis. Let's do number of tricycles. Okay, and then on my y-axis, I'll just have number of wheels. I'll even just do number of wheels. Okay, now I have my ratios, and I'm going to make those into ordered pairs. I have 1 and 3. I have 2 and 6. I have 3 and 9. I have 4 and also 12. I have 5 and 15. And then we also have 6 and 18. Alright, now that we have everything labeled and copied down and ready to go, what we're going to do is start plotting our points right on our graph. Okay, we have the first order pair of 1 and 3, so we go over 1 on the y-axis and then go up 3 on my x-axis, so it's in line with that. So 1 and 3, we plot our point. The next one is 2 and 6. We go over 2 on the y-axis, go up to where it says 2 over on the x-axis and go up on the y-axis. So we're in line with both 2 and 6. Same idea with 3 and 9, go over 3 and up to where I'm in line with my 9. 4, same idea, go over 4, go up to where I'm in line with my 12. The ordered pair of 5 and 15, I'm going to go over, make sure I'm in line with my 5, and then up, make sure I'm in line with 15. Then finally 6 and 18, I'll go over to where I'm in line with my 6 on my x-axis and go up to the 18 on my y-axis. Now that I have done this, I'm going to draw a line starting at the 0 and all the way up through. Okay, you can see that my straight line was able to hit every point that I plotted on my grid, so that means I have the correct answers. Any plot on my grid that makes my line stray off to being a straight line at all, that means that it is an incorrect answer. Okay, what I want you to do now is to get out the graph that I gave you that deals with a pentagon has 5 sides. Okay, I want you to copy and complete this table of equal ratios. Then on a grid, I want you to graph the ordered pairs from the table. Okay, and to connect them with the line. We're not going to worry about that question for number 6. Okay, now what I want you to do as far as your increments on the left-hand side of your axis, I want you to do increments of 5. Okay, so I want you to pause the video right now and complete this problem. When you press play, I'll have the correct answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, first of all, we'll start with the correct answers for your table. Okay, you should have 5, 20, 25, and 30 for the number of sides there. Okay, and all of those can be simplified all the way down to the ratio of 1 to 5. Looking at the point on your graph, this is what it should look like. Okay, you can see the different plots on the graph there. Okay, representing the ordered pair of 1 to 5, 2 to 10, 3 to 15, 4 to 20, 5 to 25, and 6 to 30. I also labeled my x-axis with pentagons, my y-axis with the number of sides. Okay, and this is how you graph equal ratios. It is important to remember that every part of your table needs to be able to be simplified down to the original ratio, okay, or the simplest ratio, simplest form. Also, it's important that you label both x and y axis. Also, remember that anytime we plot a point on your graph, it should be able to follow a straight line. If it does not follow a straight line, then you do not have an equal ratio. Okay, so please come and see me if you have any questions about this concept.